Unique evening in itself. There's not really too much going on with the weather where that situation is concerned, but it is kind of a special night because of the fact that a lot of weather geeks like myself and just overall weather aficionados are looking forward to tonight, because this is the debut night of the movie Twisters, the sequel finally to the original Twister, which came out in 1996, just a few days after the Fort Smith tornado happened. So when I was in Fort Smith, Arkansas, it was quite the time frame there. We are going to be seeing the potential of some thunderstorms into the next couple of days. For that matter, as we go into the next several days, we're going to be seeing better potential of more showers and thunderstorms, which could be an issue for outdoor activities coming up. So if you have any plans for outdoors, that again could be a bit of a problem. But I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem for, again, getting anything really huge. You are going to be able to get in some outdoor activities. That's the point. But you are also going to have to be paying very close attention to what's going on with the weather. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll take a look at the forecast. We'll also take a look at what NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, is doing to help both advise on the movies and also to make certain that the public knows about weather safety. Twister was a great movie about storm chasing and a little bit more on the creative license on a lot of things out there, the evil storm chasers and stuff like that. But it also brings into a very fine point the idea that if you are just a member of the public and decide, hey, let's go storm chasing, hey, stop right there and don't do it until you've been properly trained when it comes to anything involving storm chasing. So if you want to go storm chasing, that's great. Get trained first. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a little while, so stay tuned for that. Let's take a look and see what's going on the radar. It is just before 10 o'clock, and as of right now, the News 12 viewing area, southeast Tennessee, western North Carolina, northern Georgia, and then back into extreme northeastern areas of Alabama. That is the News 12 viewing area. There's plenty of showers and thunderstorms. Atlanta having some rain delays going on, and as I understand it, the hometown lookouts, I believe they're playing in Birmingham tonight, and got some showers and thunderstorms passing on through there. So they were in a rain delay earlier on, and I-20 between Birmingham and Atlanta covered over by showers and thunderstorms. We just have some light leftover rain showers. There's no thunderstorms in the area, but we will be seeing more potential of rainfall throughout the course of the rest of the next couple of days. So for temperatures today, we were actually about 3 degrees below normal, and that 3 degrees at this time of the year can make an exceptionally huge difference where the temperatures are concerned. And that really did help out a little bit, very close to where we should be on the temperatures for this time of the year. So that is some good news. High temperature, record high of 100 set back in 1998, and a record low temperature of 58. A record low of 58. When that's as cold as you can get, you know that you are both in the deep south and you are in one of the warmer periods of time of the year. Here's some really good news. We have not gotten any rainfall since roughly before the 4th of July, and we only had 0.09 of an inch of rain in the gauge. So for today, we picked up over half an inch. So that takes us below half a foot below normal, and it takes us down to 2.5 inches or so, where we were over almost 3 inches behind normal. So that helped out a lot where the rainfall is concerned. But again, that is where we do see the potential for more rain over the next few days to help us out. We are very dry, and we could definitely, desperately use the rainfall out there. Temperatures near the 10 o'clock hour, 68 in Andrews in North Carolina. Everybody else back into the lower 70s. Not seeing anything else at this time in the way of anything indicating a great deal of heat index temperatures. It is going to be pretty sloppy out there this weekend where it comes to anything involving comfortable air very humid conditions out across much of the area into the rest of the next few days. So that in and of itself could be a bit of a problem for outdoor activities. Traffic moving along pretty well. Not seeing any construction backups at 2475 on the Tomahawk crane and rigging camera, so good news there. Downtown Chattanooga, looking earlier at a lot of cloud cover. Lookout Mountain off there in the distance. Ruby Falls, you can see it very close there. And much of downtown, again, very much on the quiet side. From the opposite view, instead of looking southwest, we're looking roughly northeast, kind of hazy on the Patriot Concrete camera, overlooking I-24 traffic passing through the downtown area. Chattanooga Theater Center from the North Shore on the the Speedy's Total Car Care camera. Rain and some breezy conditions earlier, and right now some haze and fog out across the Tennessee River, and not too many folks out and about. A few folks out and about for a stroll across the footbridge, but beyond that, not really seeing too much there. And one last check of the Chattanooga Zoo webcam and looking off toward Erlanger Hospital. Clouds breaking up a little bit, but we're going to continue to see more cloud cover throughout the rest of the weekend. Temperatures at the airport, we did not get that warm today, thankfully, for July, looking a lot better. Temperatures back in the mid-70s. Dew point temperatures just below the air temperatures, so that means we have a very high humidity value, and that is why it is feeling very sultry and will continue to be that way throughout the course of the rest of what's left of the weekend. So the big picture, again, is showing the potential of more showers and thunderstorms as long as this storm system is going to be hanging around the area. We've got little, if anything, in the way of very dry conditions anytime soon. So for right now, the stationary front, and for that matter, this particular area of low pressure is going to be stirring up more moisture, pushing it up our direction into the course of the next couple of days. So we do not see any relief from the moisture. We've got dry air to the north, moisture-rich air to the south, the clash point basically right over us, and in the next several days we'll be seeing better potential of those showers and thunderstorms moving on through. So here's the forecast formula for the next few days, recipe even, if that will count on there for you. Temperatures in the morning, in the mornings coming up, plural, high 60s to around the lower 70s. High temperatures during the afternoon, mid to upper 80s, maybe even a few 70s if we get enough rainfall. Then we just repeat that process over and over and over. High 60s to lower 70s on Sunday morning, mid to upper 80s on Sunday with more chances of showers and thunderstorms. Again for Monday, stray showers and thunderstorms continuing, and then going into the high 80s on Monday afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms, high 60s, lower 70s on Tuesday, and then going back in the lower to mid 80s by about Tuesday. South of us, if we get enough sunshine, the Gulf Coast, the East Coast, back toward Atlanta, temperatures could be above normal in the mid-90s, again, depending on how much sun we get and how far north this particular storm system decides to wander. If it sticks around our area and just sort of wobbles on through, there probably is not going to be that much happening. We may see it pass, according to this computer model simulation, going back to our north, so that might lessen the chances of rainfall next week, but I still think we're going to be in the potential of showers and thunderstorms coming on through. Severe weather does not look to be a threat. Again, most of the thunderstorm chances east and south of the viewing area. This is not even a severe weather threat. This is just a potential of thunderstorms, and that, again, is just for tonight. Tomorrow, widespread chance of, again, just some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Not looking at severe weather. A marginal threat back toward the Carolinas, and that's going to be about all. And then as we get into Sunday, we've got plenty of chances of showers and thunderstorms remaining, and that's going to be sticking around for a while. But for the time being, we're not seeing anything in the way of severe weather. So good news again on that. But things are changing where it comes to the tropics, and we'll talk about that coming up here in just a little bit. Island Cove Marina and Resort, some sky shine reflecting against the cloud cover, which is thickest off to the west. Lake Chickamauga, a lot of night fishing going on last night, but not too many folks out and about for this evening. All these cameras are courtesy of the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network. Persistence forecasting in meteorology is pretty much exactly what it purports to be. It does exactly just what it says on the tin. Not much is going to be changing at all in the near future. So we do not have anything coming up that is really going to be changing to give us anything in the way of really any ups or downs on the temperature. So we do not see anything going on that is really going to be getting us really hot, or more would be a lot more pleasant, a lot cooler. So this is relief from both the typical July temperatures. We'll be close, but we'll be under the regular high temperatures, which again is about 91 for this time of the year. Then we go into the next several days as we approach the end of the month. That is where we do not see anything going on with very hot weather coming back our direction. So good news there. So the temperatures, mid to high 80s for highs, high 60s to low 70s for lows. Chances for showers and thunderstorms every single day, all the way on through the next few days into, again, next week. And pretty much if everything holds for the end of the month. The temperatures into the next few days, at least for now, we are seeing again that blue zone of below normal temperatures continue, and the really warm air gets pushed up toward the Great Lakes, New England, and down toward Florida. That's good news in and of itself. However, the next 30 days, the newly updated forecast from the Climate Prediction Center, the medium range forecast does hold over the Blue Ridge, the Appalachians, parts of the mid-Atlantic states, a lot warmer conditions coming up here in that darker red zone, and we're in the pretty well above normal temperatures here. So we might see, again, temperatures heat up toward the end of the month and into around early portions of August. Now, way out west, it looks like that trend is going to continue, and from the Rio Grande all the way up into the central Rockies could be some very hot conditions. I would anticipate this is going to mean a long and dangerous wildfire season from Montana down to New Mexico, Texas, the Great Plains could be seeing some problems with that. So that could be a problem for anybody heading out that direction. Now, that being said, let's go into the tropics real quick and show you what we've got. We have tropical air in place. We do not have any tropical systems. We've got a system that is making its way all the way out into portions of the areas of the mid-Pacific into the next several days. So far, so good, and that does not look like we're seeing too much of a problem. This is the only disturbance that we really have to talk about, and this has been, let me change that real quick. This has been raised from, in the days 2 through 7, from a 10% to a 20% chance of anything developing. Let me make certain this hasn't changed over here, and it hasn't. Back to the Atlantic. So far in the basin of the Atlantic, there is nothing going on. Now, again, that being said, this is where, and again, portions of that is because of this very thick dust blob making its way across the Atlantic, blocking out the sunshine, and that is going to help us with less in the way of tropical storm development for now. But taking a look at the Climate Prediction Center's tropical hazards outlook, and this has been explained on a couple of decently trustworthy media outlets, we do not see anything right now in the way of major upticks in anything involving activity for now. But according to what the Climate Prediction Center's Week 3 forecast, that's July 31st through August 6th. So starting off the first portion of August, from the last day of July into August, we are seeing again the potential for more activity over the far eastern Pacific. So right up against the Mexican coast, all the way back to northwestern Central America. This area here in the red is where we could see a 40% above normal chance for tropical depressions, tropical system development. Now, this area over here, as that gets going, that also can have repercussions on another ocean just over the isthmus of the area of Central America. So an uptick in activity here will be causing more of an activity outburst here. Now, not quite as much as the Pacific, but it looks like the Atlantic is going to be looking for an uptick in activity of about 20%. Above normal chance for any systems to develop in the Atlantic, the Caribbean, and back close to the Gulf of Mexico, including right back around where the Gulf Stream flows through past the Keys and around Florida. What does this mean? Right now, as in tonight, as in the 19th of July, there's nothing going on. Except for that one disturbance over the Pacific. Right now, what we are going to be watching for is any development out this direction that could be a problem. And remember, this is expected to be a record-breaking season. What we're going to have to watch for, especially if you're heading toward the beaches, the ocean coastal areas, out to the Bahamas, Puerto Rico, taking a cruise, anything like that, you're going to have to be both, number one, very weather aware, and number two, very much on the flexible side, because if a storm is heading one direction over another, and remember, we could get multiple storms forming at once. It's expected to be that much of a season. We've had Alberto, we've had Chris, and we've had Beryl. So that's the first A, B, and C storms. We still have the rest of the season to go through, and we've only gone through the first month and 18 days, which means we've got the better part of 4 months and 2 weeks of tropical season just waiting for us. And that means that in both the Eastern Pacific and the Atlantic, we could be looking at a big up ramp of activity as we go into around early August. Now, will this directly impact the News 12 viewing area? Leftover storms can roar up this direction and can be windy and can give us a decent amount of rain. But for right now, I don't think we're looking at too much immediately, but as we go toward that last day of July and the first week of August, if you've got plans to visit Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, anywhere out in the Bahamas and the Caribbean, all the way into the Gulf, the Texas coast, the Gulf Coast, the Mexican coastline, wherever you're going, please be weather aware, because this could go it could sustainly steady upbeat of storms, or we could have a whole bunch all at once. Either way, it's important to be weather aware as this later portion, as the third month of tropical season begins to unfold. Really important to pay attention to what's going on. So again, please make certain that you are doing that. Taking a look, let's do a little bit of extracurricular activity here for our picture of the day. Thank you very much, Francis Parnell from Pikeville. A beautiful sunset reflecting in the clouds above out there in the Cumberland Plateau. Beautiful picture for our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day for Friday. If you got weather pictures to share, please send them in to us at pictures@wdef.com. You can drop them to our social media pages, which is also where you can see these pictures posted every single day during the week, or you can go to our website, wdef.com/photos, where you can see other people's submissions and submit your own for the Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. So thank you very much to everybody who has submitted some amazing pictures this week, this month, all the way on through. Amazing works out there. Thank you very much for all the photography that you have sent our direction. We really do appreciate that. Now, back in 2008, let's do a little bit on weather safety at this time. In 2008, during the Super Tuesday primary, the National Weather Service issued dozens, if not hundreds, of warnings, especially tornado warnings. And a lot of those warnings, the public ignored them. And it's puzzled a lot of meteorologists, researchers, emergency managers as to why so many people would just say, anything outside of my zone of influence does not bother me. If it hasn't happened to me before, therefore, according to my own personal flawed logic, it never will occur. I do not get hit by severe weather. Other people do, so why should I worry about it? Well, NOAA did a study of this. You want to know one more thing that NOAA does? Studies on public reaction to severe weather to understand why people put their peril ahead of going to safety. Is it pride? Is it plain stupidity? What exactly is it? Well, this study they did found that people ignore weather warnings because they think severe weather will never happen to them. we all have to remember, as a pastor of mine from back in Lawrence, Kansas reminded me, thank you, Pastor Mark Helter, that we are all everybody else to everybody else. We are all someone else to someone else, which means that severe weather, yes, it can happen to you. It can happen to me. It can happen to anybody at any point in time if the conditions are right. But what do you call that? And what was the practice of that labeled as? The Dunning-Kruger effect, a conspiracy theory, optimism bias, or plain simple ignorance? And the answer was, again, optimism bias, the idea that bad things only happen to other people. 43% of you voted for that, as did Andrew Harrison, my co-anchor. So thank you guys very much for voting in our web poll of the day. Thank you, friendinroofing.com, for being our sponsor on that. If you'd like to vote, we'll have a new poll coming up at midnight that you can take throughout the course of the rest of the weekend. Now, that being said, this is an auspicious day because the sequel to the movie Twister, as in Twisters, plural, comes out today, and it's available in theaters to go take a look at. I'm planning to go see it. I enjoyed Twister, the original movie. There are a lot of holes in the movie that I can point out to various classrooms when I go talk to them. A lot of things about the movie that bothered me, but it was a good romp about storm chasing. But Noah, and a lot of people thinking these days that politically we can just get rid of Noah because that'll get rid of anybody talking about climate change, which is a very, in my own opinion, stupid and short-sighted idea. NOAA does a lot more than just study climate change, and NOAA should and will continue to study climate change, as well as the rest of the world doing it. Basically, getting rid of a government branch is not going to improve anything in the minds of saying, oh, well, then we get less people talking about climate change, then we don't have to worry about it, and people will just think it'll go away because it never existed in the first place. All of those are basically falsehoods. All the way on through. You can hope that things don't change by sticking your fingers in your ear and humming really loud, but talking about climate change is part of what NOAA does. So is severe weather education and advising the movie producers about severe weather and tornadoes. They had consultants go and talk to the people who produced the movie Twisters. And one of the things on the page that comes in very handy, and something that I try to get across every single time anybody mentions storm chasing, is that you do not, NOT_not, chase tornadoes unless you have been trained by experts and know where to go, what to do, how to respond. There is a group of people who just decide to take off and chase storms because they can, because they think it's fun, because, hey, dude, watch me get as close to this tornado as I possibly can. That can be a very fatal idea. That, again, is not how I want to go out, and that is not what I want on my tombstone, is he got stupidly close to a tornado. You do not chase storms unless you have been properly trained. That's the way it is. You should not even be close to one of these things. Again, it's the movies. Some TV shows, some reality shows on various networks make them look to be absolutely incredible, and chasing storms is incredible. I've done it. I've seen tornadoes from very close up. I don't want to get any closer to them than I already have. The point is not to get as close as you can and survive. The point is for research and to help make the atmosphere more understandable and safer. There's a gentleman by the name of Professor Charles Chuck Doswell from the University of Oklahoma, who coined the term about the time this movie came out a few years before of storm-chasing yahoos. And that is a very good way to label those people who go tearing across the roadways through people's yards and farms just to be able to get more closer to a deadly debris-flinging tornado, just to say that they got within this far distance right there, setting a bad example, getting a bad name for the other researcher storm chasers, encouraging bad behavior in other people. Storm chasing, yes, I can understand that. Done safely and intelligently, yes. But just roaring out there as if there's nothing to lose, that right there could encourage bad behavior in other people. Some people may say I'm a stick in the mud and that I'm taking this entirely too seriously, but this is, something that is exceptionally very important to take a look at. If you just try to get close to a storm just because you can and you destroy property, run people off the road, if you block emergency vehicles from getting where they need to be to help other people, you don't need to be on the road doing stupid stuff like that. So please don't do it. Go see the movie, learn more about storm chasing, become a Skywarn spotter, and spot for the National Weather Service. They could use Skywarn spotters that can stay in place and to see what's going on. Get your amateur radio license so you can participate in amateur radio severe weather nets. That's a good way to do things, but just roaring after storms like this is not a good idea. Never has been, never will be, unless you get properly trained. Safety first, safety always. That's going to be one of the best things that you can possibly do. So again, please remember that, and let's make certain that we all stay safe out there if at all possible. Okay, I think that should do it. Again, we're going to be monitoring the weather through the rest of the weekend, and we'll keep you advised as to what is going on out there. Please don't forget that you can get more weather information via the News 12 WDEF weather app. If you haven't downloaded it yet, please do so. Not just for all the great features on there, but one of them is this right here. You can catch weather overtime whenever we place it on the website and on our social media pages. You can get more information on the News 12 weather app, and we can keep you updated on all of that. So please, again, sign up and find out more about what's going on with weather in the Tennessee River Valley, North Georgia, and northeastern Alabama. We'll keep you updated on that, and you can join us with weather overtime whenever we post there. We'll be monitoring the weather throughout the rest of the weekend, so please keep it tuned for more information, especially on our website, wdef.com/weather. And of course, Chip Chapman will be back bright and early on Monday morning to keep you updated for weather in regards to the last full week of July 2024. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onek. This has been the Friday, July 19th edition of News 12's video weather blog, Weather Overtime. Thanks to everybody who's been watching. Thanks to everybody for throwing in on Twitch and signing up to subscribe for our updates. Really appreciate everybody doing that. Here's hoping you have a great weekend. Please make it a safe one. Let's all be careful out there. And of course, we'll be back again with the latest Weather Overtime coming up on Monday. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in a few days.